Dear church, you're old and you have failed. I have the answer for you, though, coming up in this episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Screwup Chronicles. Welcome, Screwup Nation. That's my new coin for you guys. I'm going to call you guys the Screwup Nation. In this episode, I want to talk a little bit about what the church has failed to do over the last decade and how that's affecting both membership in the church, but also affecting the people that are not attending the church regularly as they should be. So we're going to dive into this episode right now. Welcome, everybody. I am Robie Millar. I am the host of the Screwup Chronicles podcast and the Screwup Chronicles on YouTube. Excuse me real quick. I'm going to adjust this mic up. This episode is geared more towards the church than it is towards the people that I normally try to reach out to. And stick around for this episode, though. I think at the end of it, we're going to have some solutions for you. And I'm going to have a little bit of a challenge for you if you're new to Christianity or if you're looking to find answers as to whether even there is a God. And I'm going to have some challenges for the church as well. So like I said in the intro, guys, I know it seemed a little bit harsh. First and foremost, let me back up real quick. Let me clear up some housekeeping items. Screw Up Nation, thank you so much for growing the podcast. It's growing and growing, like I say every single time I do one of these. But also the YouTube channel. I just want to mention that real quick. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button below. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the bell notification so you can get notifications on new episodes. But in last Sunday, the channel grew like 10 subscribers in a day. So it's really awesome. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for that. Keep sharing it. Share the podcast, share the YouTube channel with people that you think may need to hear this. And then this episode, guys, since we're going to do a little bit different, since we're going to gear this a little bit towards the church, I beg you to share it with your pastor and the leaders in your church if you are a member of the church. And if you aren't already a member of the church, maybe take a look at this. And, if you have questions, send me some questions, screwupchronicles@gmail.com. Join us on our Facebook page. I'm going to make a community there for Screw Up Nation. So anyways, like I said in the intro, the church is old and has failed over the last decade. Why do I say that? And it's very, very simple. The statistics prove it. And if you are a member of a church, and if you go and look at your congregation, you will realize that the statistics aren't lying and it's not just a made-up number. The biggest thing is right now, currently, right around about 40% of millennials attend a church regularly. And before you jump on your typical millennials or blah, 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 blah response, I want you to stop for a minute and kind of take a look at why it may be that your church does not have attendance with the millennial generation, and why, as a whole, the millennial generation is being ignored when it comes to religion. I know your response, especially if you've been in church your whole life, is gonna be the typical one. To be honest with you, I know that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be, well, the millennials don't have any work ethic, and the millennials are this, and the millennials are that, and we don't believe in, we believe marriage is between a husband and a wife, and the millennials are just so accepting of gays, or the millennials are, just so accepting of alternative lifestyles, and we don't believe that that's right, so they just don't fit with us. And that's, to be honest with you, complete crap. That's not why the millennials aren't going to church. That may be part of the reason why, but it's not because the church does not believe, and not even the church, Christianity, but the church does not believe in marriage between a male and a male and a female and a female. It's because the way the church handles that situation with people of that community. And that's just the honest talk. That's just the real truth. The truth about the millennial generation, and by the way, I'm a millennial by definition, I'm a young Christian, 36, but a millennial nonetheless. The truth is that the church doesn't reach the millennial generation in what their values are. And I know that's a tight line to walk for religion because we do have strong beliefs on certain things. But it's the way that those things are addressed and the way that those things are handled with that generation. That's the problem. It's not the belief. It's the lack of grace. And that's going to sting a little bit because our religion, your religion, was found on grace. And as a church, we tend to not have any of it. And the millennial generation needs it. My generation needs it. Why do I say I'm a young Christian? Well, number one, I've only been a Christian again for the last couple years. But number two, the reason why in the intro I said you're old, the church is old, the average age of the church body in the United States is 50 plus. Depending on your religion, your denomination, it's even higher. It's between 50 and 60 years old. So we're not just missing the millennial generation, by the way. We're missing a lot of people. And why do I say that? The statistics prove it. From 1999 to 2019, church attendance is down 20%. So before you jump on the millennial high horse, the millennials don't do and the millennials are and blah, 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 blah. If the millennials were the problem, the church attendance wouldn't be down by 20%. Check yourself. The problem is us. The problem is our lack of programs for people. Our problem is lack of outreach. Our problem, especially with the millennial generation, is we basically just forgot about them. We forgot about them. Youth groups are going away by droves. And even the ones that do exist are failing to reach the youth. And the reason is we refuse to let go of what worked in the past. We refuse to change with the generations. And this is the first time ever. This is the first time ever. And I know there's a lot of traditionalists out there that are like, well, we don't believe that in gay marriage, so we don't want to condone that type of action. Accepting them as a person and loving them is not condoning them. Accepting that they may be a sinner, which, by the way, newsflash, so are you, is not condoning their sin. And I said it in another episode on the podcast, their sin is not greater than your sin. That may be hard for you to swallow, but the truth is their sin is not greater than your sin. You don't like their sin, but it's not any worse than yours. Church oftentimes falls on the what sins are we okay with demographic, and that's not acceptable. Not if you want to realistically save these people's lives, which is, by the way, according to the Bible, your job to do. If you were a business and you lost 20% of your business, you would no longer exist. If you were a doctor, a surgeon, and you killed 20% of your patients, you would no longer have a medical license. And if the church continues on the path that it is currently going on, there will no longer be a church, because the church is not your building, it's the people. So I'm asking for you guys to take a listen to the millennials that do attend your church and ask them to help you understand what millennials are looking for. I'm asking you to have a little bit of grace towards their sins. I'm asking you to adapt your programs. One of the biggest fears of the millennial generation is finances. And if you don't know that, look at Facebook. The millennial generation wants everything free, right? And they want everything free because, well, they're spoiled. They don't want to earn it. They don't want to work hard. Also crap. And my friends are going to be like, what? Robbie's defending the millennial generation? In this instance, I am. The reason they want everything free is because they can't afford to have anything. Because we have screwed up this economy so badly, and I have a whole list of reasons why I think that happened, but we have screwed up this economy so badly that you almost can't afford to live unless you have two incomes. Almost. You can live. I know there's arguments out there, well, if I make minimum wage, I can't pay my bills. You're not supposed to make minimum wage, bro. That's true. You're not. You're supposed to up your skills, work your way up. Everyone starts out at minimum wage, but they don't stay there long. But the truth is, even above minimum wage, at $12 an hour, they're living pretty bare. And the millennial generation is not accepting of living bare. They want more for themselves, and good for them. They value their personal time. Good for them. That's not a negative thing. I know a lot of baby boomers and other generations that wish they valued more personal time. In fact, almost everybody that I know that has passed away has said, I wish I would have done more stuff that I enjoyed. The millennial generation just heard that and is trying to do more stuff that they enjoy. But one of the biggest fears, my whole point in that rant, one of the biggest fears of the millennial generation is finances. And we don't even offer programs, a lot of churches, that help with that. Our school system doesn't do that. So there's an idea for you. Start Financial Peace University and offer that program, right? It's a great one. It's a great plug. Dave Ramsey, if you haven't taken it, take that program. But there's many, many other ways to reach this generation and save their life. So talk to the millennials in your congregation. Millennials, I told you I had something for you if you waited. Don't give up. One of the downfalls to our generation, I can say that now, I'll claim it now because I'm about to talk a little bit bad about you, is that we get discouraged very, very easily when things don't happen for us instantaneous. And that's not your fault. Your whole life, everything has been instantaneous. You've had the internet since the day you were born. Everything's been instantaneous. It's not your fault that you don't have patience. Try to learn a little bit, but don't give up. If you are attending a church and they are failing to recognize why they are missing your generation, instead of giving up, double down. Join the board. Try to get on the board. Talk to people on the board. Show them this video. Try to make the change. Don't just give up on the church. I'm asking you to not just give up on the church. Church, if you have millennials and they're trying to give you ideas, take them. That's life and death. Take them. If you do not believe in religion, or you have a bad outlook on religion because of past experiences, I want you to keep searching. keep looking for the church that their congregation has more millennials in it. I am pretty happy to say that the church that I attend, Lincoln Park Community Church, has a pretty high millennial attendance. And more than 90%, actually, in fact, almost all of the vision team, the board, if you will, for this church is a millennial. So they exist. They're out there. Look for them. If you don't believe in God, this video might not have been for you, but every video that I make is for you. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at screwupchronicles@gmail.com. Join Screwup Nation on Facebook, Screwup Chronicles on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Smash that subscribe button, hit that bell notification for me so you can know when I release a new video. For those of you on the podcast, whatever platform you may be streaming on, thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't checked out the YouTube, check out the videos. Here's the thing, my kind of final thought, my closing argument, if you will. The numbers don't lie. 20% less attendance. Less than 40%, like 40% of millennials attend church. And which that may sound big, but like 78% of boomers attend church or did. If God is real, like we claim that he is, and heaven and hell are real, and you are a church leader and you refuse to make a change, then you are refusing to do exactly that Jesus asked you to do. You were blatantly spitting in the face of Christ. And I don't know if that's forgivable. For those purists and traditionalists out there, I'm not saying we have to change the message. Don't misunderstand that. I'm just saying that we have to approach it differently. The Bible tells us to approach it differently. The Bible talks about how we are to address the captives because they're captive. They don't know better. And if you are going to a prisoner of war and saying that it has to be this way, and if you can't do that, I can't let you out, but you have the key, you're a war criminal. And this is war. Make the change. Guys, I thank you so much for listening to the podcast, listening to the YouTube video. This is only going to grow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to put some links in the description below to the Facebook page, to the podcast, and be on the lookout for some more stuff. We're building our new studio. Won't be too long. We'll be in a new studio, getting some new video equipment. So I'm gonna be doing some new stuff. Still geared around the same thing, but we're gonna have a little bit better production value, and we're gonna launch some new things. So be on the lookout for that, guys. So do me a favor, share it, subscribe, bell notifications. Till next time, thank you so much for listening. I'm Robie Millar. Catch you again.